Sorry, guys. 1 second. Okay. What's going on, everybody? All right. How's everybody doing today? I hope well. Sorry for my appearance. I have not showered today, frankly, because it's my day off, as well as I needed to clean up the house and deal with plumbing issues and all sorts of garbage. And so it is what it is. Anyway, folks, we today are going to look at a few packages. I'm going to try to do this without showing the addresses here. This one is a very special one that came from overseas, from Gungshi, my friend here on YouTube, and somebody who watches the channel. And I appreciate very much. It's awesome to get a package like that. I know of a couple of the things he mentioned that were in there, but I don't know the majority of what's in the box. So that'll be a fun one. What's in the box? And yeah, we're just going to jump right in, guys. It's going to be a shorter live stream today. And we're just going to unbox these packages here. We're going to start with this one here. And actually, before we get going, what's up, No Mayo? I am feeling better from the sickness. Yes, the sickness was awful, and it was a slow grind to get back to full health. But I am pretty much back to full health. I was able to run. I'm a runner, and I run every day. I couldn't run for 2 weeks because I was sick and it was respiratory, so I didn't want to make it worse. And I finally was able to run a little bit today, and it felt good, so I can't complain. But yeah, so if you guys are new to this channel and want to see more live streams and videos like this, feel free to hit the subscribe button, as well as the little bell for notifications. And if you enjoy these live streams, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. That way, more and more people could see the live streams, and we could start to build the community a little bit here. And I really appreciate all you guys very much, as you know. And let's jump right in. This is something I actually ordered months ago when I was doing a bit of a purge. Not a purge, how do I say? I was selling off a bunch of my anime DVDs to upgrade to the Blu-rays before it's too late. What I mean by that is these Blu-rays and DVDs go out of print, especially the Blu-rays at a certain point. I'm sure will start to climb up in value because that's just the nature of anime collecting. But this one I sold my 3, I think it was OVA, or was it 2? 2 OVAs, I believe it was, from the 90s. This is an anime that is more of a slice-of-life anime, more of a comedy, not as much action and science fiction like the stuff I usually watch. What's up, Dean? Oh, using your real name. Look at you go. Thank you, Dean, very much. Now I have to remember Mr. Bob as Dean Pierce. Good to see you, man. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. And yeah, so this one came out in 1995. It is 6 OVA episodes on 1 disc. And that is Golden Boy, the discotheque release of Golden Boy. I've heard so many good things about this anime. Again, it's not really my subgenre of anime, but it's something that I've heard many good things about. There's a YouTuber that I've watched for, I guess, close to 20 years, which is crazy, named Happy Console Gamer, who talked about this at one point. And what's OVA? Okay, so cool. So OVAs, what's up, Ralph? Thank you for tuning in, buddy. In Japan, an OVA referred to, or an OVA stands for Original Video Animation. It's sometimes billed as OAV, Original Animation Video, but I know it as OVA, Original Video Animation. And these were coming out, I think the first one was in like 83. These were coming out in Japan, and they were not going to theaters. They were just kind of going straight to video, or straight to the, VHS video market, or the beta market at the time, Laserdisc market at the time, they would end up becoming. But the Japanese creators Japanese animators would create these little shorts that didn't really fit into feature film, so they wouldn't show in theaters, and maybe they were a little bit too extreme, too much violence, things like Urotsukudoji, which is, one of the early examples of tentacle, like hentai sort of stuff. Watanabe, are you referring to, what's it, Shinichiro Watanabe? Is that Cowboy Bebop? That might be a little bit... My expertise is in the late 70s, 80s, and early 90s. Up to the mid-90s, I like Cowboy Bebop, but I'm not as fanatical about it as a lot of people are. Ghost in the Shell, you know, 95 is kind of... I always say, like, 80s to 95 is sort of my sweet spot. But yeah, so OVAs would come out. They'd be, you know, very adult in nature. And instead of going to the theater, they would just go straight to the physical media that was popular at the time, which is mostly VHS, like I said, until Laserdisc would take over. And these were full of all sorts of adult themes, obviously, and just really served as this incredible canvas for Japanese animators and creators to create some of the greatest animated works of all time, in my opinion. And again, I've heard so many good things about this one here. Studio APPP, who did Project A-ko, a film I've talked about on the channel before, and Robot Carnival, which is an anthology film. Now, an OVA is not a film. You know, those, like Ninja Scroll would be a feature-length film. This is 6 episodes here that are like 20 minutes long, or I should say probably more like 25 minutes long. So each episode, it's kind of a mini-series. That could be another word for it. But OVA is sort of an umbrella term that covers anything from, I know Battle Angel Alita is like a 45-minute anime. Sometimes there's, or OVA, sometimes there's 20-minute OVAs, just one-off 20-minute OVA. There are, you know, 8-part OVAs, things like Iria, things like GoldenEye that have multiple, or Golden Boy that have multiple parts. So it doesn't really, there's many different lengths. But feature film is different. A feature film is set up differently. This is not set up like a feature film. It's episodic, so each episode has its own story arc that kind of combines into the main story arc. Check out films like Cyber City Oedo, which I've talked about, one of my favorite OVAs of all time. Yoshiaki Kawajiri did also Goku, which was 2 one-hour episodes of like a midnight private eye, film noir, horror, science fiction sort of thing. Lupin the Third, yes, I love the original Lupin the Third film, or I should say the Miyazaki one, The Castle of Cagliostro, which I believe was the first feature film. Again, those are feature films. Most Lupin animes were feature films. Future Boy Conan, I have not checked out. I think that's what, Osamu Tezuka, the guy who did Speed Racer. But either way, this is, again, guys, Golden Boy. This guy drops out of University of Tokyo to learn the real-world experience. Since then, he's done it all, running a political campaign, spit-shining the latest software, even making anime. However, this wandering student hasn't exactly done all the boobalicious babes he keeps running into. But he could solve their jiggly mysteries without swimming too close to the sun. Kintaro just might save the world. So this is obviously going to be very adult. It is unrated. It is directed by Hiroyuki Kitakubo. And I don't know really anything else about this besides what I just read. So it's going to be like a lewd sex comedy from the mid-90s. That is definitely outside of my purview when it comes to anime, but I'm going to expand a little bit, try to go outside my comfort zone. And if it wasn't for a YouTuber that I enjoy talking about it, I probably wouldn't have picked it up anyway. He also talked about one called Otaku no Video, which I have now on Blu-ray as well. Those are more slice-of-life drama comedies than the typical horror / science fiction cyberpunk anime that I usually enjoy and love. Bubblegum Crisis is another classic OVA. 8 episodes, 20 minutes long. One of my favorite OVAs of all time. Am I a fan of food anime? I'm not even... I can surmise what you mean by that. I guess, like, I don't know, an anime that follows, like, a chef who cooks a lot. Not really. Food shows have never really been my thing. Even movies about food, I don't know. I eat a very boring diet. I'm a very limited diet. Food, I don't get as excited about food as most other people. I know that sounds weird. I love good food. I love, you know, even sometimes bad food that's bad for you. But I eat a very limited diet because of my gut issues. I don't eat many calories during the day. Who could tell? But that's just to keep sort of my gut issues, which might be autoimmune. I'm not sure. Don't really care. Whatever I'm doing is keeping them at bay. So food doesn't really excite me like it excites a lot of people. I know people who really love food anime. I had a friend that really was into that kind of thing. But it's not necessarily my kind of thing. But I respect everybody's opinion, and I respect what people enjoy. It's just when it comes to anime, for me, I prefer the violent, action-laden, high science fiction concepts. Angel Cop is another great anime. I could go on and on with the OVAs, guys, and the anime feature films, etc. All right, I want to try to be careful with this one. This one I got from eBay, and I ordered a film. So I watched a film by Joe Carnahan, his first film, or his second film, I should say. And it was a film that I had watched back probably 20 years ago when I was in high school, and I enjoyed it. But I really fell in love with it. Falling in love with a movie like this is a strange phrase, because it's a gritty crime, procedural cop thriller about corruption and just laden with violence and undercover cops, and just very serious and gritty, William Friedkin-like 70s aesthetic. But this film came out in 2003, I believe. Oh, that's interesting. So this guy went the extra mile and packed this really nice. So we'll unbox it one thing at a time here. Hey, Jolly Good. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. So first thing, he took the poster out here, it looks like. Newly commissioned artwork poster here. This is an Arrow release, folks. It actually has the original poster, which is awesome, right there. And the film, as you can see now, is Narc. I prefer the original poster art, as I usually do. This one is a little too, I don't know, urban. I don't know how to say it. Like, I'm not sure. The graffiti, yes, there's graffiti laden on the walls of these grimy city streets in, I think it's Detroit this one takes place in. But this more so reminds me of New York or the Warriors or something. It's not very representative of Detroit with its industrial sort of feel. But I like this. It's more minimalistic. It's not great either, but, you know, I do love the film enough to display this poster when I have some more space. So that's cool. So that is the poster for the film here. And then in this bag, I'm assuming, is... This guy packs like I pack. He uses all sorts of anything that he's got lying around, so that's the way to do it. I'm not sure why the poster wasn't in the box, but I guess we'll find... Oh, because he put a bunch of bubble wrap in there to protect the discs, which is awesome. So this guy must be a collector. He knows what he's doing. And, yeah, so here we have the same thing, sort of the newly commissioned artwork. I will go with the original artwork. I prefer that. So what is Narc about? Narc is about Jason Patric's character, who is undercover, and he gets a job. After completing an undercover job, he gets another undercover job to investigate what happened to a previous guy that was undercover who was killed, who is now dead, we'll say. I don't want to spoil anything. And so Jason Patric, who's been undercover for so long, you know, hard-boiled, it's affecting his family life, you know, all those common tropes, they're just handled very viscerally and very well here by Joe Carnahan. And that leads him to Ray Liotta, who was the partner of the undercover cop who was killed previously. Yeah, horror crime, I mean, that's an interesting way to put it, but yes, like inner city humanistic horror and crime. Yeah, I love these types of film. Dark Blue, there's Street Kings, there's a lot of these types of undercover films. In fact, the guy who I believe, yeah, he didn't write this one, but there's a guy, I forget his name, but he writes a lot of these types of films. He wrote Dark Blue and Street Kings, I believe. But I like the undercover cop kind of angle, and this one really nails it. So he meets up with Ray Liotta, and they're both trying to solve what happened. Things get increasingly convoluted and mysterious as basically it turns into a mystery as to what happened to this Ray Liotta's partner, the guy that Jason Patric is looking into at this point. And what can I say? This film opens up with an absolute bang. It has a lot of shaky cam, but I think the shaky cam was used to enhance the realism of the opening shot, of the opening sequence, which follows Jason Patric running after somebody who he just busted. And, you know, a woman and her baby get caught up in the violence, and it's very brutal. Again, very visceral and right up in your face, and the film starts with an absolute bang. Very frenetic action in the beginning. then it kind of slows down. It still has that sort of semi-shaky, sort of voyeuristic camera work. It's not nauseatingly shaky or anything like that. It just adds the sense of realism that the early 2000s was kind of doing. You know how it's just kind of always moving. Not my preferred cinematographic style. I like symmetry, I like still shots, I like movement when needed. That's kind of the way that I've shot my, like I try to shoot my stuff when I make short films. But that handheld camera kind of look, that shot on digital kind of handheld camera look, pervades this film. But it works to its favor because of the environment, the industrial decrepitude, the degradation of Detroit, and the moral degradation as well as the social and industrial degradation. But it does come with a nice slipcover here. Again, I don't like sort of the hip-hopified graffiti kind of look that they rebranded this film with. It doesn't fit the film. It's not like an inner-city crime film or anything like that. It has some hip-hop. Yes, it does. I don't know. I guess it kind of fits into that milieu, because in the early 2000s, gangster rap was back on the rise with artists like 50 Cent and stuff like that. Yes, I did like the movie Frankenstein Unbound. I'm looking at it right over there. That's Roger Corman's last directed film, and I thought it was a very, very fun movie with good performances, good acting. John Hurt, Raul Julia. What's that graffiti movie title writing? Well, it's, if you're referring to this, it just says the name of the film, Narc, N-A-R-C, which is obviously short for narcotics agent. But either way, I'm so glad to have this. After I rewatched it on my DVD, I knew I had to purchase this Blu-ray, and I got it at a good price. Sometimes when you bid, you can get things at a good price, so this was like 15 bucks. It's in really good shape, and it was sent with love and care, so I don't do that too often, but when a movie really strikes me, like Narc did the second time I watched it, I was determined to track that one down. So I did. I was happy to see that Arrow felt the same way about it and released it. So here we go, guys. This package is the big package that was sent a few weeks ago, and I missed it on the 28th, and then it got sent to my post office, and anyway, I had to track it down, etc. Do I think 144p quality video has a place in filmmaking? I'm not... Probably not. No. No. Movies are traditionally shot on film. Film is very good quality. It's the degradation of that quality comes from transferring it to certain formats. 144, I would imagine it's very blurry and hard to see. I suppose that could be used for certain subjective camera angles, but no. The reason I love Blu-ray is because Blu-ray is a step closer to the filmic look that movies that were shot on film were trying to go for. It's closer to it. I know 4Ks could get closer to it as well. But no, like the clearer the picture, especially movies shot on film, I feel like that's closer to the original artist's vision. So I would go with that. Now, if you're using 144p or lower quality with creativity in mind, for creative choices that add something to the film, then go for it, I say. Obviously, people use different lenses, camera angles. They use blurriness to signify discombobulation or disorientation, etc. So if you mean in that sense, sure, but I don't think I'm going to sit down and watch a 144p movie. That's like worse quality than VHS, isn't it? And I've moved on from VHS for the reasons I just explained, because VHS, not only did they often cut off the sides and make it full screen, which, you know, films were shot with that in mind back in the day, so it neuters the film in that way, but it also is not close to the quality of film that you would see going to the theater at the time. And so once DVD and Blu-ray came out, which were a step closer to that film quality, that cemented it for me. I want to see the film the way the artist intended, as close as possible. And so, again, if an artist is making a movie with 144p, maybe I'm thinking 144p is way worse than it actually is, but I'm reminded of things like Skinamarink and movies that are shot maybe in Super 8 or stuff like that. I'm not sure what fidelity that would be considered. But yeah, so that's what I would say. Jolly Good says, did you used to have the Nickelodeon Orange VHS tape? Yeah, back in the day I did. God knows what happened to those. All right, guys, so again, this actually came from Taiwan, it seems to me. I'm pretty sure. And this is, again, from Gungshi, who is a watcher of the live streams and a supporter of the channel, somebody who I really appreciate. If you're here, Gungshi, thank you very much for sending out this package. I really, really appreciate it, and I'm very excited to check it out. So, without further ado, folks, that's enough of my yapping. Hopefully, I'm being coherent and making sense. And let's see, guys. So we're going to jump right in. I'm going to try to do this without spoiling what is in here. So it feels like, wow. Feels like 7 or 8 films, guys. I mean, holy crap. Yeah, look at that. Sent me a whole stack. Wow, that's awesome. All right, so first one, I'm just going to go in there and kind of dig it out. Oh, wow, nice. Paprika. I don't know if I have this one. Do I? I'm not sure if I have Paprika. I have to double check. Either way, I still very much so appreciate this. Paprika is a really good film by Satoshi Kon. Satoshi Kon is the only director that I've really enjoyed his work. How do I say this? Satoshi Kon steps outside of the milieu of anime films that I usually enjoy, science fiction, but he still skirts around it. This film has fantasy elements. It's about a young woman who can go into others' dreams. This came out way before Inception. So it says, the magical tale centers on a revolutionary machine that allows scientists to enter and record a subject's dream. After it is stolen, fearless detective and brilliant therapist join forces to recover the device before it falls into the hands of a dream terrorist in this gripping anime thriller. So I'm pretty confident Christopher Nolan saw Paprika. There are moments in this film that take my breath away. In fact, one moment is pictured right there. It is beautiful. I have goosebumps thinking about it, even though I don't really remember the context because it's been a long time since I've seen this film. But Satoshi Kon directs the hell out of this. He's more so known for Pafe Kuto Baru, which is Perfect Blue, which Darren Aronofsky borrowed a lot from. So a very for Black Swan, so a very influential anime director here. Paprika is a beautiful film that I do need to rewatch that deals with some really cool science fiction concepts. So, sorry guys, give me a sec. Let me make sure. It says the chat was disconnected. I'm not exactly sure why, but hopefully that fixes itself in a moment. So that is Paprika, guys, and we're going to go in for the next one. I wasn't expecting anime after just talking a bunch about anime, so that's really cool. And next up, we have a brand new one I could feel, and that is Suddenly in the Dark. This is South Korean horror that I do have. I gotta say, I do own this one, but I don't have it sealed. So I'll probably keep the sealed one and then bring the other one to my shop, to the video game shop, to sell. So that way I'll keep the one that was gifted to me. And he did say in the email, if you have any of these, that's totally fine. Feel free to put them on your eBay shop, which I appreciate that sort of foresight there. Thank you very much. But no, I'm going to keep... So if I have Paprika, I'm going to keep your copy. I'm definitely going to keep the sealed copy of Suddenly in the Dark here. Suddenly in the Dark, guys, is South Korean horror. This is actually South Korean horror from the 80s, I believe. 81. Directed by Go Young-nam. Now, this is dips into erotic horror. I've yet to see this. I don't know much about it, if I'm being honest, but it's 80s South Korean horror. There wasn't very much South Korean horror in the 80s at all. There's still, well, nowadays there's a lot, but even in the 90s and the aughts, there wasn't too much. Increasingly, it gets more, there's more and more as time goes on, but especially in the 90s and 80s, there's not too much. So anytime I can get my hands on something like that, that's awesome. And Suddenly in the Dark, it's got great artwork there by Mondo Macabro. Puts out some really weird and obscure foreign films. So, very cool. All right, next up, we're going to go in. We've got a couple more in this package. Oh, yes, this was one I knew was coming. That is Eczema. Now, Eczema is a film that definitely is my kind of thing. I know it's a sort of a Seven-inspired, dark, gritty crime horror thriller. Kind of hopefully in the vein of things like Cure and Seven, and some of my favorite films of all time. I love Cure, one of my favorite films of all time by Kiyoshi Kurosawa. And Seven is no slouch either. I love the film. It says here, The Vicious Emerges, which I love. So let's see. Hired by a wealthy, and we have a shaman and her protege hired by a wealthy, hired by a wealthy enigmatic family. They begin investigating the cause of a disturbing supernatural illness that affects only the firstborn children of each generation. That sounds fantastic. I don't even want to read anymore. That's all the hook I need, all the draw I need. Almost sounds similar to The Wailing, which is another South Korean horror film, which is absolutely fantastic. Actually, that's me talking about those films, and my love for those films is what prompted Gungshi to send some of these that I didn't own out. So Exima on Blu-ray, man, that is, thank you so much. Put out by Wellgo, written and directed by Jang Jae-hyun. And I'm really looking for, I'm going to watch this soon. I'm going to put this right over here in my to-watch pile. So, actually, I'll probably put it here for right now. But that's really cool. That's excellent. Thank you so much. Next up, we have Let's Scare Jessica to Death. I'm sorry to say, Gungshi, I do have this one too. I bought this the day it came out because it's one of my favorite 70s chillers. I love the psychological horror of this film. I love how the main character, played by Zora Lampert, is just increasingly, her psyche, her mind is increasingly eroding as the whole town is sort of gaslighting her into thinking that she's losing it when she may not be. There is something supernatural happening, maybe, maybe not. It's one of those films that kind of waffles your expectations and kind of twists and turns, but really relies on its incredible performance by the lead actress here, who didn't do much beyond this. It was very convincing, woman losing her mind role here. Along with the chilling, palpable, grainy atmosphere of the 70s, and I just love this. It has a New England vibe to it. I'm not sure if it's supposed to take, yes, New England there. Has a New England vibe to it, which definitely rings true for me because of where I grew up in Connecticut. I love films like Dead and Buried. I know Dead and Buried probably takes place up in Portland or up, in New England where I grew up. They kind of mirror each other in a lot of ways, those sort of cloudy, stormy coastal towns, and this has one of them. And this is just such a cool film. I don't want to say much because I could get into spoilers, but Let's Scare Jessica to Death is an underrated early 70s classic. So thank you so much for sending that one out, Gungshi, despite me having it. Now, oh my gosh, we've got a bunch here. Gungshi, you spoiled me. Thank you very much. This guy's... I feel so grateful. Thank you so much. You're sending me Scream Factories, Wellgo, Mondo Macabres that are sealed. Thank you so much. I truly mean that. Thank you. This one is heavy duty. What is this? This one he packaged especially well. Trying to be careful, guys. Sorry, I don't want to talk and do that. There we go. Alright, now I just use brute strength to get this off. I don't want to spoil what it is as the bubble wrap becomes increasingly transparent. Alright, this is a big set, whatever it is. Holy shit. Holy shit. Gungshi. My God. I'm speechless. The Good, Bad, and the Ugly 4K Arrow release of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. My golly. This has international and extended cuts, 4K and Blu-ray. Sad Hill Unearthed. Sorry, guys, I'm a little blown away, and I'm reading, because I didn't even know this existed, frankly, so... It's got documentaries. It's got the international cut, 162 minutes, and the 179 extended cut. I wonder if I've ever seen the extended cut. Maybe that's the one that I've seen, but I'm not sure. This has tons of special features. This is one of my favorite films of all time. So, and my favorite of Sergio Leone's, definitely. I love Once Upon a Time in the West as well. I love Duck You Sucker. I love For a Few Dollars More and Fistful of Dollars. Sorry, but man, to have a premiere, this is as nice as the Apocalypse Now that I have from Arrow. This is beautiful. Oh my god. Thank you so much, Gungshi. That's amazing. Good, Bad, and the Ugly. Arrow 4K. Wow. Phenomenal. All right, we have what feels like 2 more here. Oh, yeah. This one I knew was coming, but man, is it still awesome. Gonjam Haunted Asylum. Gonjam Haunted Asylum I have on DVD. I think I already brought it to the store. Or no, I have it ready to go to the store. But because Gungshi told me he was sending this one. Guys, this is fantastic. This is a fantastic found footage film from South Korea. Gonjam Haunted Asylum just follows a group of kids that go into this asylum, and things get super weird, super quick, and increasingly weirder, exponentially stranger. Really balances the fun, lighthearted, vivacious nature of the young characters in the first half of this film with the increasing and encroaching horror that they are confronted with as the film goes on. It, just like a great found footage film should, it really gets you attached to the characters, and by the halfway mark, when things really start getting weird, you know, you really care about their fate, and you want to see them get through this, and in great found footage fashion, usually they don't, right? Because that's what the whole point of found footage is. It's kind of like Tales from the Crypt. You know they pretty much die. You pretty much know the fate of the characters of a found footage film. At least most of them. Most of the time. And this film is fantastic. I absolutely loved it. I watched it maybe 6 months ago or so. And I just fell in love with it. I gave it a 4 out of 5, which is, for me, a pretty high score. And one of the freakiest places in the world, it says Gonjam Haunted Asylum. So that is awesome. And it has a slipcover. So thank you very much, Gungshi, for that. Add that to the ever-growing found footage collection. And the South Korean collection. And last but not least, oh my god, yes, I forgot he was sending this one. A film that I have wanted to see for many, many years. One of the last, I would say, big found footage films of last decade that I've yet to see. One that's supposed to be very good and is well loved. It's called The Borderlands. I believe this has a different title as well. This one looks like it is, yes, so it is the German release, but it has English audio and English subtitles here, from what I can tell. And it's Region B, so it'll only play on my Region B player. But that is fine. That's the reason I have it. My all-region player, I should say. And yes, this is clean as a whistle. It's got an insert here. Let me see what this is. This is just sort of like an advertisement, advertising some of the other releases by this company. And yeah, so don't mind me while I just kind of straighten out the artwork here. And we got a nice slip cover for it. And again, that is Borderlands. This, I don't know much about it, and I can't read it because it's in German here. I can read some German, but not too much. It's very close to English. We borrow, obviously, English is a Germanic language. But I know it follows a group of people, investigators who go into, like, Catholic Church, I believe it is, where some weird things are happening. I think this leans into exorcism found footage, if I'm not mistaken. But it says this Britischen horror film. So this must be a British horror film, or British found footage film that deals with Catholic mysticism, Christian mysticism, exorcism, all of those really cool things that come from the Christian religion or the Christian mythology. And I love films that deal with that. In fact, I've been watching a lot of them recently, things like Lost Souls, and I rewatched the Omen trilogy, which deals with premillennial dispensationalism and other sects of Christianity and Christian mysticism and eschatological Christianity. Sorry, I know that's a lot of theologic words there, but it's my type of horror, basically, is what I'm saying, that deals with real religious implications and etc. So The Borderlands, really happy to have that. 2 films I'm adding to the found footage collection. So that is fantastic. Wow, that was awesome. Thank you so much, Gungshi. You are so gracious to just gift these to me. I mean, this, I know it's not about value, but I mean, you sent this stuff here. This is easily over $100 worth of movies. So thank you so much. I can't tell you how awesome and appreciative I am of that. You know I am appreciative of this stuff because it's going right into the horror collection. Just to go over them one last time, The Borderlands, found footage British horror there. Gonjam Haunted Asylum, South Korean found footage horror. An incredible copy of Good, Bad, and the Ugly, which I didn't even know existed. 4K, brand new and sealed Arrow. Unbelievable. Exuma, which is a film I'm definitely going to watch soon. That is South Korean, modern South Korean horror. I think this came out a couple of years ago. 2024. Yeah, this is a brand new film. And Let's Scare Jessica to Death, Scream Factory. Amazing little New England, you know, chiller. Here we have Suddenly in the Dark. That is the South Korean erotic horror film from '81. And finally, Paprika. Paprika. From Satoshi Kon from the, was this come out in 06 or, I thought this was older than 06. It says 06 on the back. Maybe it was like 05, 06. Anyway, Paprika, which is an incredible anime film that has science fiction elements. And then finally, guys, we had Narc from Arrow. And lastly, Golden Boy from Discotheque Media. So, an incredible little unboxing mailbag here, guys. Take a look at that. That is fantastic. These are going to go right from here to my collection out in the living room. And then I am going to enjoy the rest of my night. I want to read. I've already read a little bit, but I want to read a little more. I want to get some history in there. And then I want to watch... what do I want to watch? I want to finish Prince of Persia. I was watching this, which is still holds up pretty good. I saw this in theaters back in the day, and I really enjoy it. It's not bad. It's not cringy. It's a fun little Indiana Jones-like adventure. And then I got to play... I want to play a bit of... I want to do a bit of gaming tonight. I have plans to start this game. It's called Baten Kaitos, which is a JRPG made by the guys who did the Xenoblade and Xenogear and Xenosaga games. And me and my boss, the owner of the game shop I work at, we're going to start it together and see how we enjoy it. So that will be that. But I also want to play Resident Evil because I'm about halfway through Resident Evil 0 on the remake. And then, yeah, chill out for the rest of the night. Eat some food and relax. So I just want to thank all of you guys. I'm not sure what happened to the chat. I really apologize for that. I don't know what happened. It just said it disconnected, and I haven't seen any comments since. So I just want to thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this little live stream. There will be another one this week, so stay tuned for that. There'll be some shorts as well, so stay tuned for those. Gungshi, I just want to, again, thank you so much for sending these out to me. I really appreciate it. Hey, I'm going to start putting together a small pile of stuff that I think you might enjoy, and one day I'll get your, we'll make that happen. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. Feel free to give this live stream a thumbs up. That really helps me and is helping me grow very slowly, but that's okay. I don't want to grow quickly. I want to curate a fan base, an audience of people, like-minded people, friends, where we can all discuss film and have a good time and speak our minds. That's my goal. So, again, guys, if you enjoyed this live stream, feel free to give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button as well as the little bell for notifications. Other than that, guys, I am going to enjoy the rest of my night. I will see you all very soon. Thank you. Until next time. Bored Cyborg is out. Peace.